Welcome to the Research Desk. Today we are bringing you an authoritative analysis of modern market microstructure, drawing from a highly critical stack of source material titled Stories versus Spreadsheets, when market narratives build or break reality.
We are going straight into the architecture of modern trading with this one.
Exactly. We are looking directly at the mechanics that dictate the reality of the financial market you interact with every single day.
Yeah.
This analysis lays out exactly how narrative and algorithmic infrastructure are currently colliding.
And we are establishing the core mission of this deep dive right out of the gate, because the information in front of us presents a stark, unavoidable structural question.
We have to determine the absolute reality of our current financial system.
Right. Are AI-driven markets experiencing a new era of structural efficiency functioning perfectly as designed to smooth out volatility?
Or is this daily calm an outright illusion of safety, one that is actively masking a catastrophic systemic risk?
The structural realities dictate that we are at a definitive inflection point. We need to unpack exactly what the data is telling us about the foundation of the modern market.
Okay, let's unpack this right away. The source material immediately divides our current market reality into two deeply opposing diagnoses. First, we have the bull case.
Which the text defines as the fly-by-wire model.
Right, the fly-by-wire model. This is the argument for modern efficiency. Could you break down exactly how these AI agents are operating under this model?
The mechanics here are inescapable. The evidence shows us that AI agents currently act as massive, instantaneous digital shock absorbers in the market.
Processing data at machine speed.
Machine speed. And because they do this, they engineer continuous price discovery, they drastically tighten the spreads between bids and asks, and they completely remove human lag from the equation.
The text uses a very specific and highly accurate analogy here. A fly-by-wire aviation system.
Yes, think of a modern stealth fighter jet. Aerodynamically, some of these planes are inherently unstable.
They shouldn't be able to fly.
They absolutely shouldn't. But onboard computers are constantly making thousands of micro adjustments to the flight surfaces every second to keep the aircraft flying perfectly smoothly.
So the market is doing the exact same thing. Instead of human traders reacting to news, we have machines making micro adjustments to asset prices.
Exactly. We are seeing dynamic reinforcement learning algorithms replacing the brittle, static assumptions of the past. These modern AI agents dynamically adapt in real time, correcting instability instantly.
And the direct result of this, under normal operating conditions, is deep, highly efficient liquidity.
And a proven lack of cross-asset contagion. When a localized shock hits the system, the algorithms instantly absorb it before it can spread.
That sounds incredibly robust.
Right.
But here is where it gets absolutely fascinating. The opposing diagnosis comes in hard. We have the fly-by-wire argument, but the source then introduces the bear case.
Or pressure cooker reality.
Right. And the tension between these two diagnoses isn't just a minor disagreement. It is an absolute contradiction.
It is a complete structural contradiction. The pressure cooker reality is the stark counter to that entire narrative of efficiency. The mechanics of the market demonstrate that the system is acting as a volatility suppressant.
It is explicitly trading daily calm for catastrophic tail risk.
We are not actually eliminating volatility from the system, we are just compressing it. We are building hidden kinetic energy beneath a perfectly smooth surface.
The text frames this definitively. We're looking at 1998's long-term capital management LTCM, but on steroids, and driven by severe algorithmic crowding.
Let's make sure we ground that for the listener. LTCM was the massive hedge fund in the late 90s run by Nobel laureates.
They assumed their complex models had essentially solved risk.
Precisely. LTCM relied on extreme leverage and the strict assumption that their various trades were entirely uncorrelated. They thought they had perfectly hedged away all their risk.
But when the Russian financial crisis hit in 1998, markets behaved irrationally.
Correlations went to 1. And LTCM collapsed so spectacularly, it required a Wall Street bailout just to prevent a global meltdown.
And the source material argues we're building that exact same architecture today.
The data dictates it. This low volatility environment is a structural mirage that will instantly vanish under stress.
The sources highlight exactly how this mirage is currently functioning day to day. The continuous price discovery and artificially low volatility actually serve as a structural subsidy for those selling short-dated options.
The machine speed efficiency continuously reinforces the illusion of peace,
which subsidizes highly leveraged strategies that depend entirely on the volatility remaining suppressed. It reminds me of one of the mental models the text uses, the Truman Show.
That is the perfect visualization for this stage of the market. In The Truman Show, the main character is living in what he thinks is a perfectly normal, safe town.
But it's actually an artificially constructed set piece.
That is exactly what you are perceiving when you look at the market reality today. The depth and stability you see on your trading screen are a set piece built by
It
algorithms.
looks completely real.
But it is ready to be struck down the moment the script changes.
So if this stability is just a set piece, what does this actually mean for the architecture of the market? The text points us directly to the concept of strategy homogeneity.
Right. Why are all these brilliantly designed algorithms suddenly starting to act exactly alike?
To understand that, we have to look at the CapEx trap.
This is the mechanical reality of commoditized alpha. Think about what it takes to run a state-of-the-art artificial intelligence trading model today.
Massive data centers.
Specialized chips, immense power grids. This is astronomical capital expenditure, CapEx.
And as that CapEx requirement grows exponentially, the return on invested capital, the ROIC, aggressively erodes
This is an unavoidable mathematical reality.
because it costs a fortune just to get a seat at the table.
Exactly. And because that return on investment is eroding so quickly, these highly advanced AI models are mathematically forced into the exact same optimization strategies.
They can't afford to be highly experimental,
They cannot. They have to hunt for the exact same marginal returns in the exact same ways just to justify their operating costs.
which creates a terrifying reality that the text refers to as a biological monoculture.
Let's break that down.
If a massive global farming operation plants the exact same genetically identical crop across millions of acres, they achieve incredible daily efficiency.
But because there is zero genetic diversity, a single specialized disease can wipe out the entire global food supply simultaneously.
And that is exactly what the data shows is happening to our market algorithms.
The numbers here are undeniable. We are looking at quant fund model correlation that has skyrocketed.
From a previously manageable baseline of 0.45 straight up to a highly dangerous 0.82.
The data dictates that the machines are no longer diverse. At a 0.82 correlation, identical AI models are mathematically guaranteed to fail simultaneously to a single unmodeled shock.
A 0.82 correlation. I mean, that implies everyone is running the exact same playbook.
They are.
Do we have a historical precedent for what happens when the entire market adopts the exact same programmatic strategy?
We absolutely do. And this brings us to a mandatory point of emphasis in our analysis. We have an undeniable historical precedent, the 1987 Black Monday crash.
Today's strategy convergence perfectly mirrors the rigid portfolio insurance dynamics that triggered that historic 22.6% single-day drop in the Dow Jones.
Put us in the room for that. What exactly was portfolio insurance and why did it break the market?
In the mid-1980s, institutional investors adopted a programmatic strategy called portfolio insurance. The idea was simple. Computers were programmed to automatically sell S&P 500 futures if the market started to drop.
Acting as a dynamic hedge to protect the portfolio's value.
But the fatal flaw was that almost everyone was running the exact same programmatic defense.
When the market experienced a slight dip on October 19, 1987, the computers automatically triggered their sell orders.
Which pushed the market down further.
Exactly. That initial wave of selling dropped the price, which then triggered the next lower threshold of programmatic selling across all the other funds.
Every program tried to sell futures at the same time to protect their portfolios.
But because everyone was selling and no one was buying, it created a mechanical doom loop.
The historical record dictates that the 0.82 correlation we are seeing today is constructing that exact same systemic fragility,
Just upgraded to modern machine speed.
which establishes another mandatory emphasis from our sources, the Minsky paradox in code.
For the listener who might not be familiar, the economist Hyman Minsky proved a fundamental rule of finance. Stability breeds instability.
Long periods of market calm lead to excessive risk-taking, which ultimately causes a crisis.
That is the core of Minsky's work. The lack of daily volatility proves to the algorithm's risk models that it is safe to increase leverage,
So the algorithms buy more, which suppresses volatility even further.
which signals to the risk models that they should increase leverage yet again. What we are seeing now is the Minsky paradox hard-coded directly into modern market structure.
The very algorithms that are designed to maintain balance and act as those digital shock absorbers are actively constructing the architecture for a systemic collapse.
It is a mathematical certainty that this continuous suppression builds extreme kinetic energy.
And that leads us directly to the vulnerability of the order book itself, which the text defines as the phantom order book.
Now, to play devil's advocate, when you look at a trading screen right now, you see incredibly deep liquidity. There are massive walls of buyers and sellers.
How can the order book be fragile if it looks so robust?
Because that depth is entirely conditional, the text relies on another critical mental model here, the Maginot Line.
Before World War II, France built an incredibly robust line of fortifications to protect against a ground invasion.
Looking backward at how World War I was fought, today, traditional risk metrics like standard value at risk or VAR models are our Maginot Line.
They are looking at historical volatility to predict future risk.
Completely blind to the fact that the algorithms have fundamentally changed the physics of the market. The liquidity you see on the screen is an illusion.
These algorithms are explicitly programmed to withdraw their liquidity simultaneously at the very first sign of severe stress.
So they aren't there to catch the market if it falls.
They are programmed to step out of the way. Do we have concrete proof of this mechanism in action?
We must emphasize the 2010 flash crash here because it serves as the undeniable proof.
On May 6, 2010, at 2:32 p.m., the market experienced a localized shock.
What happened next proved the fragility of the algorithmic order book. Actual liquidity depth plummeted by a staggering 37.8% in mere milliseconds.
The 37.8% drop in milliseconds. By the time a human trader even blinks or reaches for their mouse, the market they thought they were trading in has completely vanished.
The crucial detail is that the liquidity wasn't consumed by aggressive sellers, it simply evaporated.
The algorithms recognized an anomaly in the data feed, realized their models couldn't accurately price the risk, and instantly pulled their bids.
This proves that what you see on the screen during normal regimes is entirely conditional.
The sources refer to the math behind that evaporation as the vacuum effect. Walk us through exactly why the natural buyers disappear.
Think of the market like a crowded theater. Normally, people are coming and going through the doors at a steady pace,
But when market correlation approaches 1.0,
which we are rapidly moving toward with that 0.82 quant correlation figure,
every single person in the theater is programmed to run for the exact same exit at the exact same millisecond.
when a shock hits, the algorithms pull their liquidity to protect themselves. Natural buyers cease to exist because every dominant algorithmic participant is suddenly on the same side of the trade.
They all want out.
The order book becomes a phantom. There's no one left to prop the door open or catch the falling knife because the machine that was supposed to catch it has already canceled its order and shut down.
The sheer speed of that vacuum effect proves just how fragile the system is. And this leads us to a highly concerning pivot in the source material: algorithmic sovereignty as a black swan trigger.
We aren't just talking about a random market glitch anymore. We are talking about the macro geopolitical threat of weaponizing this fragility.
The systemic defense questions here are monumental.
The text outlines that hostile state actors are fully aware of this highly concentrated, homogeneous AI trading ecosystem.
They see the 0.82 correlation.
They see the phantom order book. They know that you don't need to overpower the U.S. financial system with capital. You just need to trigger the vacuum effect.
How exactly does the text outline they would trigger it? What are the mechanisms for exploiting this?
The sources detail two specific, highly viable triggers. First, the coordinated injection of synthetic anomalies into core data feeds.
Because these algorithms rely entirely on instantaneous data processing.
Feeding them synthetically corrupted data spoofing the tape essentially triggers immediate automated defensive pullbacks.
The machines can't tell the difference between a real market crash and corrupted data.
So their programming forces them to pull their bids and go offline.
So an adversary doesn't actually have to break the market. They just have to spoof the machines enough to make them break it themselves.
Precisely. And the second trigger is physical or cyber operations targeting critical cloud regions.
The entire market microstructure relies on highly concentrated cloud architecture to achieve that machine speed execution.
We aren't just talking about a data center going offline and your video streaming service lagging. We are talking about the geographic nodes that house the core operating logic of the financial system.
Disrupting a key geographic node doesn't just slow things down.
It sparks a catastrophic, uncoordinated machine speed sell-off as algorithms panic over the sudden loss of data integrity.
Both of these triggers exploit the fundamental weakness of that biological monoculture we discussed earlier.
Okay, we need to synthesize all of this. Earlier, we set up a binary question: the bull case versus the bear case.
The fly-by-wire efficiency versus the pressure cooker fragility. After looking at the correlation data and the vacuum effect, which one is the actual reality?
The sources reveal the ultimate structural truth. This is a false dichotomy. The bull and bear cases are not opposing theories at all.
They are actually sequential phases of a single, highly amplified Minsky cycle.
We call this the paradox loop.
How exactly do those two phases connect?
The causal link is absolute. The exact mechanisms that are engineering out our daily volatility, the fly-by-wire shock absorbers.
Are the precise mechanisms forcing unpriced risk directly into the extreme tails of the distribution?
It is not that the market is safe despite the structural foundation. The surface is perfectly smooth because the foundation is maximally brittle.
The algorithms are flawlessly, efficiently transferring daily, manageable risk into systemic, catastrophic tail risk.
The daily calm is the proof of the incoming storm, which brings us to the final mental model the text provides.
And it's perhaps the most visceral one for understanding the paradox loop, the hydroelectric dam.
This is the definitive visualization of the pressure cooker. Imagine standing in front of a massive hydroelectric dam.
You're looking at a perfectly smooth, unmoving wall of concrete.
It looks completely peaceful, but that smooth concrete is currently holding back millions of tons of compounding kinetic pressure from the reservoir behind it.
The smoothness of the concrete does not negate the millions of tons of pressure.
It simply delays the inevitable violent release.
Understanding the kinetic pressure is critical. But the text doesn't just leave us with theory. It delivers an authoritative action plan to defend your portfolio against this structural reality.
This is not theoretical guidance. This is the mandatory response dictated by the data.
Let's walk through the exact steps. First, the text mandates long convexity protection. How does that actually work in plain English?
Think of convexity like buying fire insurance on a house that absolutely everyone else in the neighborhood assumes is entirely fireproof.
The mandate dictates dedicating 3 to 5% of your portfolio to out-of-the-money, or OTM, puts and VIX calls.
Normally, this kind of extreme crash insurance is expensive, but because the AI algorithms have aggressively suppressed daily volatility, they have fundamentally subsidized the cost of short-dated options.
These convexity hedges, which pay out massively and disproportionately during a sudden market crash, are structurally mispriced right now.
They are incredibly cheap. You are explicitly buying the exact insurance policy that the machine consensus mathematically believes it no longer needs.
You're weaponizing the algorithm's blind spot against it. And the second part of the action plan is analog resilience.
The text mandates maintaining a 10 to 15% allocation strictly to non-correlated, non-algorithmic assets.
This is your survival capital.
Yes.
You have to hold capital completely outside the blast radius of the phantom order book.
You need hard assets, commodities, or specialized non-correlated holdings that do not rely on machine speed liquidity to retain their value during a vacuum event.
Because when the vacuum effect takes hold,
when a cloud region is disrupted or the reinforcement models fail simultaneously due to that 0.82 correlation,
the only liquidity that will matter is analog liquidity.
the structural mirage will vanish, and the machines won't be there to buy your assets.
When the phantom order book evaporates, only completely non-correlated, analog assets will provide the resilience required to survive the tail event.
This brings us to the crucial concluding insight directly from the text, and it perfectly summarizes the exact reality of the market architecture we've established today.
We have not eliminated volatility. We have simply taught it patience. And a patient storm does not forgive those who mistook silence for peace.
Which leaves us with one final, deeply unsettling scenario to consider. We know the quant correlation is sitting at 0.82. We know the phantom order book is a reality.
And we know that these machine learning models rely entirely on historical data to build their reinforcement protocols.
So if every dominant algorithm in the global financial system is trained on the exact same historical data, what happens to the phantom order book on the day the market encounters a truly unprecedented global event that has absolutely no historical parallel for the machines to reference?
This is the research desk officially signing off.